7:19 coming up towards 7:20, a bit of Brother Valentino with Stay Up Zimbabwe from 40 years ago almost. Well, back to the present, and indeed the traffic situation doesn't appear to be too bad at this hour of the morning in downtown Port of Spain, going past the central market via the camera of traffictt.com, giving us a perspective. And indeed, downtown Port of Spain will be the focus for some eminent jurists this evening at the Hyatt Regency, to be more precise, because the Caribbean Court of Justice Academy for Law will host the inaugural Eminent Caribbean Jurists Gala and Awards ceremony this evening at the Hyatt. The CCJ Academy for Law is the educational arm of the Caribbean Court of Justice. The event will honor the contributions of the region's distinguished judicial officers and legal professionals to the development of international law. 19 jurists inducted into the Eminent Caribbean Jurists Hall of Fame. And here to tell us more, we're joined by Justice Winston Anderson, who is a judge of the Caribbean Court of Justice for the past 10 years, a native of Jamaica. So he knows all about the Caribbean and the issues of being a Caribbean person, and involved with cricket as well. But he's also, for the purposes of this interview, the chairman of the CCJ Academy for Law. Good to have you with us, sir. Thanks very much for joining us. Before we delve into any broader issues related to the CCJ, and how do you feel being located in Port of Spain, where Trinidad doesn't even use the CCJ and so on and all of that?
We are happy to be located in Port of Spain.
I'm sure you are. Very diplomatic as well, I might add. Tell us about the event that's happening this evening.
Well, the CCJ Academy for Law, as you said, is hosting a very important event, we think, this evening. The purpose of the event is to recognize and to celebrate the contribution of some of our outstanding jurists in the field of international law. The idea is that each year we will recognize a separate group of jurists. So this year, the inaugural year, is starting with international law jurists. Perhaps the highlight of the program this evening will be the honoring of 5 persons who have made really outstanding contributions in the field of international law. We have Justice Anthony Lucky here from Trinidad and Tobago. He should have been here with me this morning, but he's unable to be here this morning. Sir Sridath Ramphal will also be honored. His Excellency Patrick Robinson of the International Court of Justice will be honored. So too will Chancellor Bernard Ramcharan. And finally, Professor Justice Duke Pollard will also be honored.
And give us a sense as to, obviously, this being the inaugural occasion where this recognition ceremony is taking place. I suppose the obvious question is, why now? Why was it felt that this is the time that the Academy felt this was the time to initiate this process?
Well, the question is, why not? Because, you see, the fact of the matter is that we have had so many jurists who have made such strong and significant contributions to the development of jurisprudence in the region, and they have not been recognized. Many of them have actually predeceased us. They've passed on, and it's, I think, unfortunate that many of the young lawyers who are coming up now don't know these people. People like Professor Ralph Carnegie, people like Dolliver Nelson, people like Lennox Baloff here from Trinidad, people like Eddie Lang from Belize. So this is an opportunity for the young lawyers, particularly law students, because we have a lot of law students at the event, to be able to identify with those persons who have made a significant and lasting contribution. So I think the time is now. If not now, then when?
Indeed. Well, I suppose I know you have an interest in cricket as well as many of us do throughout the region. It's almost as if young players these days know nothing about George Headley and Gary Sobers.
Absolutely.
And therefore, in that context, what is apart from giving individuals due recognition for their contributions, what are you hoping that this will trigger as far as to the level of awareness of the current crop of those involved in the legal profession?
We hope that this will light a torch. We hope that this will inspire new generations of lawyers to realize that they can aspire to excellence, to realize that we have nationals who have gone from the Caribbean to very, very important, respected roles in the global community. I mentioned Justice Robinson a moment ago, he's on the premier international court that there is in the world, the International Court of Justice. I'm not sure how many people studying at the law schools recognize this or in the law faculty. So it gives them a chance to realize that even though they are from a part of the world that is not normally associated with power and outlandish achievements, if you will, that they can aspire to the very top positions that they are in the judicial systems around the world.
And I suppose that begs the question as to why there seems to be so many mixed reviews in relation to attitudes towards the CCJ, which is an entirely different discussion in many respects. But tell us a bit more about the academy, the Academy for Law, which is an arm of the CCJ, of which you are the chairman. Yes. Tell us a bit about more of its role, its function. What is its primary purpose?
Yes, but as you said, it's the educational arm of the Caribbean Court of Justice. And what we attempt to do is to bring forward into the public domain areas which are of interest, areas which are of importance in the law. We have a number of conferences, we have special lectures, we create a forum where professionals can come together, they can discuss areas of the law and help to develop the jurisprudence. So our flagship event has been for many years the biannual conferences that we have. Last year we had a conference in Jamaica, which was, I think, well attended and well regarded. But each other year, biannual conferences, we have a conference which focuses on a specific important area of the law. So this year we thought we would branch out a little bit more and try to identify as I said, groups of jurists who have done the region proud and recognize their contribution. There are many other things that we plan to do, but those are the things we're doing at the moment.
I suppose at the end of the day, there's a political phrase from Trinidad and Tobago, performance beats old talk every time. And therefore, in the same way that we could argue about whether Trinidad and Tobago had a good World Championships despite not picking up a medal, whether Jamaica had a good World Championships by picking up 11 medals, including 3 gold and so on, how would we measure the Caribbean people's regard for a CCJ? Should it not be measured by the ability of the CCJ to deliver justice in a timely manner? And do you feel that is being achieved beyond all of the other issues, which I'm sure are very relevant and very important structurally, philosophically, putting all the other issues in place? At the end of the day, isn't the measure of a CCJ justice on time?
Absolutely. And I think the President of the Court, Honorable Justice Saunders, would say just that. And indeed, he is going to present a President's address this evening at the Hyatt, and perhaps he might address that precise question. But the Court takes pride in both delivering high-quality judgments and judgments on time, and I think the record would support that.
And I mean, I can't help myself, but I have to draw you into justice. But and you are intelligent enough to know how to navigate your way through it. But we've had so many eminent jurists over the decades. I mean, we can identify in each of our different territories individuals who have excelled either within our region or without, who've made significant contributions in the field of international jurisprudence, even beyond our respective territories. Why is it that so many of our territories, and of course Trinidad and Tobago is a classic example, remain either maybe not openly hostile but indifferent towards the CCJ being our final court of appeal?
That's obviously directed to the wrong person.
I know, but you glanced that down the leg side very well.
Thank you.
But doesn't that trouble you as an individual, as a jurist, as someone in the legal profession?
What I'm focused on, and my brothers and sister on the bench, is the delivery of high-quality judgments that can withstand scrutiny. That is our focus. The issue of accession to the CCJ in the appellate jurisdiction, bear in mind, of course, that all our member states are participants in the original jurisdiction, the trade jurisdiction. We have 4 states who have accepted the appellate jurisdiction. That question really is a matter for the various governments. There is, of course, a treaty obligation in the CCJ agreement, the agreement establishing the court, in which the member states indicate that they will undertake to amend their constitutions to accommodate appeals to the I'm sorry,
Freudian
yes, to the CCJ, obviously. But at the end of the day, it's really a decision for the government to take, and that is not an area that I'd want to trespass in at all.
I get you. I get you on that. Treading very carefully.
Thank you.
Let's return to the event that's happening this evening. Beyond the celebration of the achievers, the 5 achievers who will be honored, the address from Justice Saunders and so on. What else is going to be happening? Is that the primary focus of the event this evening?
Yes, it is, I would say. Now, we are very honored to have the Honorable Attorney General, Mr. Faris Al-Arari, who will also give remarks. Hopefully he can tear himself away from the budget presentations to do that.
I wish you all the best for that.
Thank you very much for that, too. We have the Charge d'Affaires of the Canadian High Commission also give remarks as well, in addition, of course, to President Saunders' address. So that's a preliminary part of it. Then we'll have the honoring of the honorees.
Yes.
And very, very importantly, we'll have the feature address by Judge Robinson of the International Court of Justice. I look forward to that. I think that's going to be very special. And thirdly, we will have the launch of a book. The book is called Eminent Caribbean International Law Jurists, the Rule of International Law in the Caribbean. And it is a collection of the works of all 19 jurists who will be honored this evening. The book will be available at the event. We have quite a number of copies available so that persons can, of course, obtain a copy there. And
for those younger individuals entering the profession, is this an event, is it a by invitation only sort of thing? Is it that only certain members will be attending this particular exercise?
Well, the event is free. It's open to all members of the public. Of course, we have a particular interest, for the reasons I gave earlier, in younger attorneys attending, and we are sure that we'll have quite a significant contingent from the law school and the law faculty. There is space for a few more members of the public, so that if persons are interested, they can get an invitation, if you will, from our website, the CCJ Academy for Law website. And
if you would allow me, I'll just give that website.
Please.
It's www.ccjacademy.org, www.ccjacademy.org. You can also call 623-2225, extension 3229, or 625-8062. And I'm seeing an email here, a couple of email addresses as well, which I'll give. You can RSVP to smedina@ccj.org or wmitchell@ccj.org. That's if you wanted to grab those final few spots at the event. So, Justice Anderson, this is essentially a celebration. Is it tinged with any sort of regret about other issues in the Caribbean, or is it primarily celebration?
Purely primary celebration of the work of these jurists. And could I just say as well that it's very important that the guests are seated by 5:45. We want to start promptly on time. We're not going to keep Jamaican time on this occasion.
Well,
we'll start promptly on time.
Hopefully not Trini time either, because you know any time is Trini time in that sense. But just from your own point of view, I mean, we often hear the term regional integration. We talk about West Indies cricket,
yes.
Which is close to many of our hearts in many respects. And as far as the CCJ and the academy and so on, is it actively achieving that? Because it seems to be a time when there seems to be more divisiveness than integration in many other parts of the world. You know, the whole Brexit thing going on in the UK and different perspectives and so on. Is the CCJ an effective tool in the pursuit of regional integration, assuming that that's what we actually want?
Indeed. Well, I think it is, and I think the court is doing what it can, not just in terms of the judgments, which of course is the primary focus, but of course also in terms of the academy. I should mention that the court also, if you will, runs another organization called CAJO, Caribbean Association of Judicial Officers, and that again brings together the judicial officers from the region. But you know, Fazir, the point is that we can do what we can do, and instead of focusing on what divides us, let's focus on what unites us, so that we are trying to inject some positivity, if that's a word, into the body politic. I hope I don't stray too far from
Stray.
is that okay? Okay. By saying that, one of the things I admired very recently, we had the lovely wife of the Commissioner of Police,
yes.
Denise.
Ms. Nicole Dyer Griffith. Yes.
Indeed, absolutely. And I admire so much the fact that she has introduced this policy whereby the police, when they stop a motorist, sometimes doesn't hand a ticket to go to court, but hands a ticket to go to Movie Town.
Yes.
I think it's a fantastic idea. It's a great idea. And I think that more of us who try to add positive vibes into the society, the more that we do that, the greater the chance that we'll have the kind of society that we want. And what we're trying to do this afternoon is to add some degree of positivity.
Well, Justice Anderson, thanks very much
Thank you
for
very
taking the
much.
time
Appreciate it.
to be with us, and it should make for a very significant event happening this evening. Again, you can go to the website ccjacademy.org for more information. We've given you the contact information, the email address, the phone numbers as well. And as you heard from the good Justice, be on time. 5:45. When the judge talk, you better listen. Otherwise, the hammer will drop and you'll get 2 tickets to Movie Town rather than a different type of sentence. We'll take a break here at 7:35 in Trinidad and Tobago and continue right after that.
Original vibration. I say we jam